Welcome to Compass Stories. I'm your host, Veronica Sterling. And my work is centered on helping people who are in the middle of disruption rediscover meaning, strengthen connection, and move forward with courage. I do this through speaking, sharing experiences, and storytelling. I'm grateful that you've joined me for a conversation today. And if it resonates with you, I hope that you will share it with someone else in your life. Thanks for being here. When there is a storm happening in your life, how do you move through it? And if you see someone going through it, how do you show up to help? My guest today has personal insight on these questions, and he's always ready for a raw, unfiltered conversation about these harder parts of life that we'd rather not talk about. John Kelly believes that when we are willing to be open about our own storms and failures, we can create opportunities for others to seek help and find the courage they need to keep moving forward. This is the season 1 finale of Compass Stories. Thank you so much for being here and joining me every week. I have had such a great time, and I have just really enjoyed sharing all of these conversations with you. I'm already excited about season 2. This one today is a great one, so let's get into it. John Kelly, I've been looking forward to this conversation.
Veronica.
Thank you so much for being here. Tell the listener, who the heck are you, John? What do you want them to know about you?
I am an expert at failing.
Okay.
And with that being said, I've done a pretty good job of getting up, sometimes on my own, more often than not with the help and the love of others. And I want to think, this is crazy, I want to think that I figured some things out, Veronica.
Okay, yep.
And because of that, I feel that there's a moral obligation that's been bestowed upon me to share what I found out. And so, for the longest time, I was a cop down in South Florida, and I had to go where I was told and solve their problem. Like, that was the job. And now in retirement, I get to serve the people that I love because I love them, not because I'm told I have to serve them. And so I get to help first responders and really anybody just ultimately be better human beings.
Yeah, I love it. Tell me more about failure, because I do think, people talk about collecting our receipts for our life. Like, that's the trendy word, I think.
I've never heard of that.
These are my receipts.
Yeah,
my accomplishments, my proof that I can do something. But I saw something you wrote, use the word alibi, and you said, don't let failure become your alibi for not achieving your full potential. And I was like, oh, tell me, how do we get stuck in failure and just think that's the story?
Well, it's what you focus on becomes the foundation of your life. Like, we know people that are negative, right? So you go, why are you so negative? Well, what do they focus on? They focus on the shortcoming. They are always a glass half full. Half empty? Half empty. Half empty.
Half empty, yes.
They're always a glass half empty. And so what ends up happening is we're like Pavlov's dog. We get conditioned. And if every time I fail and I don't force myself to take a step back and to see, well, yeah, I mean, I'll allow myself a minute to wallow, but okay, that's done. Oh, woe is me is over. What's the lesson here? What did I do that caused this failure? What can I do differently to change that outcome? Because there's a lesson there.
Yeah, there's a
lesson in everything.
Yeah.
We don't fail to take away the lesson when we succeed.
Yeah.
It was a success. I am successful because I did this, this, and this. But more often than not, the reason why you were successful and that you're pounding your chest is because you have failed 10 times prior to that and not acknowledge the secret sauce that's in those failures.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in like the OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act.
Okay.
Fighter pilots used it in, I think it was World War II.
Okay.
It's a way of positioning yourself, deciding and taking action in a constant, never-ending, changing environment.
Yeah.
Observe, orient, decide, and act. And so fighter pilots use this. And so, but that's what we need to use every day in the way we walk into a room, everything we do, we run the OODA loop. And so what am I doing? What did I do that caused this outcome? And if the outcome wasn't what I wanted or wasn't what I expected, then like that's great, because now I have information.
Yeah.
Now I can adjust. Now I can tweak. Now I can process. Well, when I did this, I didn't achieve the outcome that I wanted. That's great. That's positive, because now I know that doesn't work. Now let me try something else. It's all reframing. Every time. So I'm going to do a triathlon for my 60th.
Okay.
I'm 230 pounds. And I'm a bodybuilder / used to be. I'm not the running, swimming. I sink. I don't run. I walk, because 230 pounds on my knees and lower back, not cool. But I said, let me fail during my training so I can learn and grow to do this.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm not a good runner. I can walk, but this is not a walking event. This is a running event. This is a swimming event. This is a biking event. So I was away last week with 2 guys that are younger than me. That one was a search and rescue swimmer in the Navy. One was in special operations. And these guys, they're like the poster boys for physical fitness and all that. And they run. And we ran the beach.
Okay.
Early morning, ran the beach, in the ocean, swimming, sun's coming up. It was transformative.
Yes.
And they said, what do you say we all do a triathlon together this time next year? I'm like, what is involved specifically in this triathlon? Before I go ahead and sign myself up, I signed myself up to fail. And I'm okay with that, because the only way I'm going to do it is I'm going to fall short during my training. I ran with them for a whole mile, and that doesn't sound like a lot. I was like, how you doing? I'm like, you didn't hear me talking for a whole mile. I'm sucking. I'm throwing up a lung here, right?
Yeah.
But if I can do that for a mile, then I can do it for 3.
Yeah.
And so I know I'm going to fail, but I'm not afraid of it, because the information that I'm going to get back from it is going to be immeasurable. There's no other way for me to win in life unless I fail. It's an oxymoron. Like, what are you talking about? No, the failure isn't the end. The failure is the thing that allows me to process information and tweak it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can eventually succeed.
Yeah.
And success for me is going to be completing it, not winning it. Success for me is going to be, don't quit.
Yes.
Swim. I
Just
don't
keep
swim.
going.
I don't swim. I was like, can I have the water wings? Is that permissible? Who's there if I don't come up? Is there safety measures there? What's going on? And so, but I know that with hard work, I'm going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm telling you, and the fact that I put it out there, if I needed something to hold me accountable, well, I'm never going to let anybody down. I'm not going to let myself down. And so this is what we're doing. And like I said, I'm going to fail a bunch. And with each failure, I'm going to learn how to be better.
Yeah.
And it's like a snapshot of life. Like,
Yeah.
Don't let failure keep you from the attempt. Don't let the fear of failure, because that's what it does. You don't start this amazing journey podcasting and interviewing people if you're afraid of failure. You go, you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I'm not. Who the hell am I? I'm not doing this.
Uh-huh.
You rob yourself of these experiences that you've had because the fear of failure has kept you right where you were.
Yeah.
Right? And so that is like foundational for growth. You're going to fail. If you're not failing, you're not pushing hard enough. You're not trying. And so what
Yeah.
ends up happening is people get into this routine of complacency.
Hmm.
You never have to worry about failing. And that's not a life that I want to live.
That's maybe a boring life.
I think it's a life unfulfilled.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so if that's the thing that's keeping you, then let's make friends with it, man. Let's make friends with fear and failure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and like I always thought it was funny that somebody would run their mouth or speak negatively about somebody that was trying. You know?
Yeah.
Like what are you doing? Time
Yeah,
out.
right.
Time out, Jack. They're trying.
Yeah.
They're in the gym. They're exercising. They are reading a book. They are.
Yes, they're going
What are
for
you
it.
doing other
Yes.
than you spewing negativity and shitting on their dreams? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's easy, when you're not in it to be judgy and all that. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to fail because I know there's going to be some amazing lessons that I learn about myself in those moments.
Yeah. I feel like my work has given me this perspective of, thinking about being at the end of life or being blessed to live to like a very old age. And if I get stuck at a failure, at a curveball, at some barrier, I'll kind of ask myself, well, later at the end of my life, if I'm looking back on this chapter of the story, like, how do I want it to read? Do I want it to be that I just got stuck here and I just quit? Or do I want it to be that I still went forward? And I get to talk to a lot of people who are also older and they're in that spot where they are
Sure.
looking back. And I remember this lady, I don't know exactly how old she was, but she was probably somewhere between 85 and 95 years old. And in a conversation, she's asked, what's the best decision you ever made in your entire life? And without hesitation, she says, I divorced my first husband.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
Very clear about that. Yeah.
And she was very young when she divorced her first husband. That would have been in a time when that would have been taboo and
Yeah,
hard.
not the thing
And
to do. Sure.
yeah. And maybe was a failure. But then when you get all the way down your life and you see everything else that still is going to come because of the quote unquote failure that happened, I don't know. I think that people kind of put too much weight on the idea of failing and then they get stuck in it.
The other thing is, so I'm a father,
Yeah.
and I want my daughter to see firsthand that life is nothing but a series of failures and actions taken to overcome them.
Mm-hmm.
That there's no such thing as perfect, that there's nothing you get right the first time.
Yeah.
And that don't be afraid of failing. Don't stay in a relationship because it's comfortable and familiar.
Yeah.
It's okay to expect more. It's okay to try and not get it right. Because what you're doing is you're giving yourself an opportunity to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so a lot of that and a lot of me not hiding from those failures
Mm-hmm.
is to give her a very real, like your dad, the person that you idolize, the person that you love more than anything, has disappointed people horribly.
Yeah.
has come up short time and time again. You know, it's easy for us, I think, to look at the finished product and go, oh yeah, well, of course, that's, you know, I like to share the broken pieces and the failures to give an accurate depiction of the journey.
Yeah.
If people are in a good place, they're in a good place because they've done the work. They're not in a good place. You can be in a good place and not stay there long if you haven't done the work.
Yeah.
But if, you know, we talk about sustainability, like you have to constantly practice those tenets, you know, practice what you preach if you want to stay in a good place. I always thought it was kind of crazy too. You know, people know what they need to do to quote unquote be successful or to have a desired outcome. And then they get shocked when they stop doing the things that are necessary.
Yeah.
They're shocked that the outcome is different.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we know that, like, if we know that in order for me to have a healthy relationship with my wife, I need to be intentional. I need to speak from the heart. I need to listen more than I speak. And I need to create an environment where she can come to me. And so I know I need to do all these things. In my mind, to have a healthy relationship, I need not to be afraid of tough conversations. If I abandon that philosophy and then we start having problems,
Yeah.
well, who should be shocked at that? You know, if you're trying to be healthy and you're eating proper and you've eliminated sugar from your diet and you're walking and exercising and you quit smoking and you're doing all these things and you're getting healthy, you can feel it. And then you start smoking again and having sweets late at night and McDonald's every day, and you start gaining weight and feeling like crap. When you stop doing the things that make you successful, you can't be shocked to find yourself in a place where you're not. I think it all plays into each other.
Have you had to overcome having, you know, failures, accomplishments, blurring your identity? Like, I feel like that's kind of a season that I've had to go through because over the last few years, my work has changed. What I feel like my priorities has changed. And most of the time that's great, like pursuing what I feel like are my, you know, best values and best purpose is great, but sometimes it still feels like there's this, I don't know, tension or awkwardness because I'm not the things that I used to track for my life are still like in the back of my mind might matter. I don't know. And I think maybe my idea of like what my career was for me and my title and where I lived maybe was a part of my identity in a way that wasn't necessary, but sometimes still feels a little blurry to grow past. I don't even know if I've asked you a question in there, but coach me, John. How do I keep growing?
So I think, you know, so to answer your question, yes. This is what happens. We have seasons, right?
Okay.
We have seasons. And in that season, you were exactly where you were supposed to be, doing exactly what you were supposed to be doing. And then the season changes. It doesn't mean that where you were and what you were doing was for naught. In that particular time in your life, that was the role you served. And it's okay to go back, but I wouldn't go back with a lens of judgment like, what was I thinking back then? Why was that a priority? Because at that time it was.
It was.
We don't have the benefit and the luxury of this time machine where we can go back and forth and look at our situation through a different lens. We don't have that ability. So what you were doing, how you were feeling, the way you felt about yourself and the role you played, that was perfect for that season. What happens, I think, often is you weren't the same person. You're not the same person now that you were 5 years ago, Veronica.
That's true. But nobody is. Yeah.
Exactly. So take your own answer and apply it. Why would you use the same scale to judge the Veronica of 2026 to the Veronica of 2020? You're two different people.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't apply. You're applying a standard that doesn't, it's not applicable.
It's good. Okay.
Two different people. Two different people. And so the way we kind of tally up the books and square up everything is that, the expectation, I would expect that you learned a lot from those experiences, and they have now helped you develop and become the Veronica of 2026, right? So not only was it a good time for you in 2020, doing what you were doing in that season, but the lessons carried over to 2026 to help you grow and develop into who you are now. It's not a negative. Even the things that you weren't thrilled about. People always say, and this is like this double-edged sword. People always say, I wouldn't change a thing. You wouldn't? Really? Holy shit, how awesome for you. There are a bunch of things I would change if I could go back. Oh, but I wouldn't be the person that I am. Okay, easy. Right? Walk with me on this. I do agree, right, that we're a product of our past and our decisions that we make, and they help form and shape who we ultimately become. And what happens to me and what I do today is going to form and shape the John in 2030, hopefully, right? And all of that. I get the philosophy, but I think we sell ourselves on that, and we start to develop some amnesia, because the John of years ago hurt a lot of people that didn't get a vote, that they didn't grow in a positive way for my shortcomings and failures.
Yeah.
I would trade those experiences that developed me if I could keep them from experiencing that pain. They didn't get a vote. They didn't ask for it. They were fallout.
Yeah.
And so I think the better statement is, if I could keep the lessons that I learned without negatively impacting the people around me, I wouldn't change a thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I was the only one that had to grow through the pain, okay, that's positive. But very seldom are you the only one that's hurting during that time. And so I think we probably need to add that disclaimer when we talk about I wouldn't change a thing. I think if you look a little deeper and a little harder, that there were some definite things that you would change if you could. My Nicole didn't get a vote.
Yeah.
She didn't get a vote. Neither did my daughter. So maybe, just maybe, if I could have done some things differently, still learned a lesson without causing them pain and suffering, that's the world I wish I could have.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like when I've listened to you in other just conversations when you're speaking, that when you're talking about our ability to grow, change, get back up, overcome our failures, that part of your message is saying that rock bottom's the wrong place to start. Like it's okay way up here before we get to rock bottom to start saying, I need help and I need to change.
So, you don't want to see people that love you don't want to see rock bottom. Because rock bottom, that swath, is that the word? Of destruction is really wide. And the philosophy that I like to adopt is we know when we're not leading ourselves well. We know when problems arise. Let's deal with them when they're small and manageable, right? That's an easier fix, man. And so to your point, yes, rock bottom is it's not necessary, right? We have to destroy every relationship. We have to bring ourselves to the point of total destruction and annihilation before we come to our senses. Says who? Mm-hmm. What happens is, I think, and I might be wrong, Veronica, follow me on this, okay?
Okay.
If I'm at rock bottom, I've hurt and destroyed everything that mattered. And that might be a perfect time for somebody to come in to offer me a lifeline, because that's an easy lifeline to offer at that point in the process. I've got nowhere else to go. The harder sell is when I'm just shifting a little bit. I'm just sliding a little bit. The harder sell is when I'm not at rock bottom, but my behavior is unacceptable. And that's a tough conversation to have with somebody because it could ruin a friendship. So you know what? It's not that dire.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let it go. I'll accept that unacceptable behavior because, 9 times out of 10, they're a great guy. It's just that one time that they're really problematic. So getting involved in the early stages is actually more difficult because you've got more to lose in the relationship. Having a tough conversation isn't tough unless there's something to lose. What keeps us from having tough conversations? The thought that if I have this, we're no longer going to be friends. If I have this conversation, you're going to be mad at me. If I have this conversation, you might leave me. So we don't have it. When there's no place to go because you're sitting in your own filth, anybody can ride into the rescue. There's nothing at risk. It's not a tough conversation.
Yeah.
Look around you. You need help. There's no way to go but up. But the early intervention part is difficult because I can't look around my environment and see the shitstorm that I'm in because I'm not at the rock bottom. And so the buy-in at that point is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Why are we even having this conversation? You're not. So now I got to convince you that the path you're on is going to bring you to bottom. If we don't correct it.
Yeah.
There's no evidence. I'm trusting that you know something that I don't. When I'm sitting in my own filth at bottom, the evidence is there.
It's all right here.
It's there. There's no, we need to get you into treatment. Yeah, my fucking life's destroyed.
Yeah.
Too little, too late, as far as I'm concerned. Because we're afraid to have the tough conversation 10 months prior, a year prior, 5 years prior. Because we don't want to, because fear. Right? I had a friend have a tough conversation with me and saved my life. He could have ruined a friendship. Could have, depending on my response. And I say, love somebody enough to have a conversation with them that loses them potentially as a friend, but keeps them here one more day.
Okay.
Love somebody enough to do that. Love somebody enough to have that tough conversation. And if we truly love somebody enough, we'll be okay with damaging a friendship to save a life.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, that's a big ask for those that are trying to help people. So a lot of times we don't have that conversation. We acknowledge that, hey, it's not cool, but our efforts kind of stop.
Yeah.
And so, and I say this when I present, sometimes our friends know us better than we know ourselves, especially when we're in one of life's storms. That proverbial, you can't see the forest through the trees. You're in it and you're blinded by the storm and you don't know where you're going or where you're heading or what the right path is. And that's at that moment, you're not at rock bottom, you're in the storm. But you need the kind of intervention that comes with risking the relationship to provide you with the clarity, right, with the information that you need to make an informed decision. We need people that love us to be okay with that tough conversation. And it's a series of not having those tough conversations that allows somebody to get to rock bottom. I know I'm probably oversimplifying things, Veronica, but I think we have lost our way as a people. I don't think we care enough about each other. Yeah. I think we've become numb to the violence and the chaos and the absolute misery that we inflict on each other as human beings. I think that has not served any of us well. And I think that getting back to genuinely just caring about each other as human beings, we need to get back to that. We need to get back to that in my profession, my old profession. But I think globally as a people, we've really lost our way.
I think it's It's interesting that you say that maybe you're oversimplifying it, because actually I think that part of the challenge is that, like, in our heads, we overcomplicate what is the action to reach out, like what is the thing to say. And it's usually much more simple than we kind of build it up to be. But if you were talking to someone who is that friend
Yeah.
that is going to reach out to the person who's suffering,
Yeah.
and that it can be, I agree with you, that can be very difficult. What is your advice for that person for how they start that conversation and try to navigate that moment?
So it's easy. I should say this. It's simple. It's not easy.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yes.
It's simple. It's not easy. I've gotten better at asking people. And again, we're talking about different storms of life. Often I ask, I acknowledge that they're in the storm. It's like nobody wants to speak to the obvious. Like, man, you really fucked up. You really have found yourself in quite a predicament, right? Let's just call it out, man. Let's just, can we at least agree that this is not an ideal situation? Okay. All right. And I think that if we go at it with a clear, open lens and we don't skirt around the issue, let's just put our cards on the table. That's one component. The other component is I love you. If I didn't love you and I didn't care about you, we wouldn't be having this conversation. This is not me judging you. If you know anything about my past, and I know you do, I'm not the judgy guy. But I'm seeing some things that I think we can course correct on. And then I shut up. I think a lot of times we struggle to find the words when, quite frankly, all that person wants is a safe person to unload on. And so then I shut up. And then I let the person that's in the storm tell me what they need. And maybe it's just somebody to sit with them in the mud for a little bit to give them a sense that they're not alone. Inevitably, what we end up doing is somebody tells us a story and then you go, yeah, but I had this thing going on and it was 10 times worse. We're not trying to one up each other, right?
Yeah.
But I've seen that happen a million times. When somebody starts expressing themselves, that's not your cue to one up them and, well, at least you got, no. I think listening is underrated. I think often we just want somebody to hear us work through our pain. And I'll often say, do you want me to give you an opinion or do you want me to just absorb?
Yeah.
What do you need from me? Do you want to get this off your chest, or at the end of this, would you like me to provide some direction or guidance? You know what, man? I know what I need to do. I don't need to hear it again. I just need you to listen. I'm all ears, man. I will shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is hard for me to do. I love to talk. But I'll just shut up and I'll let you drive the conversation. I think it's really important that when we enter these conversations, hey, like if I didn't care about you and I didn't love you, I wouldn't be sitting here. And it doesn't, often, Veronica, we think of these situations as, it doesn't have to be catastrophic. A storm, everybody experiences the storms of life differently. And so maybe the storm is on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe it's a 2, but it's that person's storm.
Yeah.
And to them, it might feel like a 10.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I think that we have an opportunity not to minimize what they're going through, but to help them get through it by listening. And then if asked, providing some skill sets, direction and guidance. Well, hey, when I experienced something similar, I did this and it I found that it worked. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that was an option. All right. So, I think that that's the way I would approach that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you start trying to tell them your story, that comparison story, that turns into like a see me, and then that means I'm not seeing you.
No,
I
you're not
can't see
present.
you if I'm all about me. It's
You're not
just,
present. Yeah.
yeah.
No, but see, that's the default. People get nervous and they go, "Well, what do I got to talk about the thing that I know? I just went through." Oh, and so that's why that becomes. I said, presence and silence is so powerful.
Yes. Yeah.
When I get done speaking, I got guys coming up to me like, "Can we talk someplace?" In fucking tears. They don't need me to say anything. They've heard what I've said, and they just need presence.
Yeah.
They just need somebody to sit with them. It's transformative because I don't want to get weird, but if I give you a hug, like that energy, if somebody's in the storm and somebody has been sought out to, like, I'm not going up to people giving hugs.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to give you a punch in the mouth, But if you come to me, come here. There's something about the human condition when we hold each other.
We regulate each other.
Yeah.
That's true.
I got you. Physically, I have you.
Yeah.
I don't want to get woo-woo. I think that's magical. I think that's the thing that's missing a lot from where we are in this place, that connection. Everybody's, a phone can't do that. No, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. I think that we have the capability to really care for each other in a way that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I hope that everyone who's listening to this podcast is actually watching it on YouTube so they can see the failed hug with your iPhone that just happened.
Yeah, it doesn't reciprocate.
That was perfect.
Doesn't reciprocate.
Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's try to lighten it up just a little bit.
Good. I love lightening it up.
So I'm sitting in my Airstream right now, but spoiler alert here, I am actually home. I've finished my trip. I've only been home for a couple of weeks. And so before I started this podcast, you and I talked. I said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. You have a podcast. Give me some advice. And then I just went out on the road and I went for it. And I
love it.
Been doing these interviews. I'm so glad that I have started this journey. But while I was on the road, I recorded these short travel diary episodes that were separate from my guest interviews. And they were always spontaneous. I had no plan or agenda. It was just wherever I was, I'm out on a trail, something's happening, and I would say, this is something to write about. And I would just write it and record it that day. So now that I'm home, you are actually going to be this is the season finale of season 1, is me with John Kelly.
I love it. I love it.
And I am preparing to record the final travel diary, and I've been trying to reflect on the things that I've learned throughout this experience. So I want to tell you some of the things that I've learned, that I'm learning, I should say, because I don't think I've definitively learned all of them. And then I'd love to get your feedback on it so you can add to my learning experience. Okay. These are in no particular order. Okay. And this isn't maybe a lesson that I've learned, but I have become very aware that, for me, this Airstream is, I tell people all the time, the travel's beside the point. This has become a much bigger metaphor for doing the intentional work, staying the course to build a meaningful life. But I do think that I have learned in the years of work to build this hunk of aluminum that I'm sitting in right now, that having momentum isn't the same as having a direction. And I do think that in the past, I could confuse being busy, being worked, being stirred up. I could conflate that to think that I was building something and getting somewhere. but it's in this much slower time where I've like let go of those distractions. I have the space to think more about the life I want to create. And so then I can find the direction to create it. That's my first lesson.
Getting my paper out.
Okay, now you're taking notes. That's my first lesson that I think I've learned.
I think that's very insightful. I think that we confuse. It's like busy work, man. Don't give me busy work.
Oh,
Life's
yeah.
busy work, right? Like,
Yes.
without direction, you can be real busy doing things that don't matter. And so maybe the recipe is to slow down.
Yes.
And slow down so you can focus on what matters. And that's what you've done.
Yeah, and I think I got to like literally slow down and go, cross country for 2 months, but maybe the like normal everyday version of that is just figuring out like letting go of the things that aren't necessary. And that doesn't mean that you have to let go of things that are hard. Like we might all have to carry something that's hard in our life, but some of it's unnecessary and we don't have to keep holding on to it.
No doubt. I think you're right. You like had this amazing opportunity, right? But for a lot of folks, they can't detach and go on this intentional journey. You got to incorporate it into their daily. And I think that's a great way to do that. Asking why. Like, why do I do this? Why am I doing this? My Nicole said something to me not too long ago. She goes, she has like 2 or 3 girlfriends. 2 or 3. Really short list.
Yeah.
Really short list. And she's like, I am not allowing people to hold space in my life for the sake of holding space. Very intentional about her relationships. I think I had said something, she's always referred to herself as not a girlfriend's girlfriend.
Yeah.
When she was working in another season, she felt like she had to. She's like, no. She's limited access to people that don't serve her health, her wellness, right? And so like, I'm looking at that. I'm like, yeah, yes.
That's letting go of something that's unnecessary.
Right. And that's a real time example of it. She has 2 or 3 girlfriends that she loves everything about them. The alignment, they're supportive, they respect her peace. That's what she has. Not going to the mixer to meet, doesn't need new friends, doesn't want new friends. She knows who she is. She knows what she wants, and she's protecting it. And I think there's a lesson there.
Yeah.
Protect your peace.
There's a big lesson.
Protect your peace. And if that means you've got 2 friends and 1 million acquaintances, then have 2 friends and 1 million acquaintances.
Something else, and I think this is a hill I will die on.
Okay.
Resilience is such a buzzword. There's so many people that talk about being resilient. And I think the phrase bouncing back is totally overrated.
Yes.
And just like back might not be available, might not have been good for me.
Right.
And I've heard so many stories with the guests that I've talked to so far on this podcast. They had something happened. They had a storm in their life.
Sure.
And the decision that they made next wasn't like, how do I get back in the storm or in that moment before the storm? It was always, how do I go forward?
Right.
And that really resonated with me on the road too, because like you don't drive backwards. Like we don't go backwards in our life. And so when you talked about like, I have a different lens now than I had years ago. And so I can't put today's lens on 5 years ago, Veronica. That totally resonated with me.
Yeah. And right. You say, hey, your ability to bounce back. I think I think there's a tendency to get too drawn into the vernacular of what I think it's more of a feeling, right? Like, so when we talk about resiliency, we're not going back to, there was no normal or we wouldn't be in a storm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is the other thing. The philosophy is the storm is usually of your making.
Uh,
So why would you want to go back to the conditions and the variables that created the very storm that you're finding yourself in now?
yeah, that's a good part of the lesson.
All right, so I firmly believe that you're the problem with all of life's storms. You're the problem. Good news, you're the fix. You got one place to stop, one stop shopping. You're the problem, you're the fix. And so, yeah, we're not going back because back just puts you in the cycle of storms.
Just you're back in the storm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just repetitive, right? And so, I've heard, bouncing forward. And listen, say whatever you want. It's a test. It's a life's test. And the storm is the failure. There are very few instances that you find yourself in a storm that you didn't contribute to it. I can think of a few, but even in those situations, you always have control over the decisions you make while you're in the storm. There's a way out of every storm.
Mm-hmm.
The key is finding the hope and believing in the process. And so there's so many buzzwords in this space. It's okay not to be okay. If I hear that again, I'm going to punch somebody in the mouth. It's actually not.
Yeah. I think that's the hill that you're going to die on. It's not okay to not be okay.
Yeah, it's a double negative. I don't know. It gets confusing.
Yeah.
All I do know is there's a whole industry that benefits from you not figuring your shit out. They will never put the emphasis on you being the solution. They're the solution. No. We need to empower each other and give each other the skill sets and tools to get through the storm with some guidance and direction. That's all. Like, we don't need the things that you've been through, Veronica. Oh my God. No, stop. No, we can't buy into that. See, because part of that victim mindset is a relieving yourself of the responsibility to own the storm that you're in. And I think that we need to stop victimizing entire populations to believe that they don't have a choice, that there's nothing that they can do, that this is just their lot in life, that this is their cross to bear. And I think that there's certain groups that want you to stay stuck because your salvation is completely and solely dependent upon their intervention.
Believe me, I'm a 45-year-old woman. I'm very clear that there are gazillion-dollar industries trying to keep.
Yes. And I just think that part of that, I think that there's some undermining going on when it comes to you taking care of you.
Yes.
Like, you can't do that. You can't do this alone. Maybe not alone, but I can do it without you.
Right. Yes.
Right. I can find support and guidance and direction from others. I don't know. Did I completely go off the rails with this one?
I think so. I don't think there's an on the rail or off the rails. And this is the figuring out phase of the lessons.
Well, you're talking about resiliency. I think if we're not careful, it becomes like it's just another word.
It's another word. Yeah.
And I think it may be already there. I think it's a feeling. I think it's a philosophy that I will do whatever it takes to be a better version of me while I'm in the storm. No lesson is going to be lost, and I'm going to get through this. And that's resiliency. I'm going to grow from it. I'm going to be better from it. Call it resiliency, call it overcoming failure, call it whatever you want.
Just going to keep updating my lens.
Yeah. Or I stay stuck.
You've been talking throughout this conversation about what I think one of the biggest things I've learned is, and it's that it's okay to move forward with uncertainty. We don't have to have it all figured out, but it's not okay to move forward alone. We can't just isolate ourselves in our grief, in our pride, in our fear. Like, we have to have real people in our lives that matter and can support us. And that's a hard one for me because I'm very good at just being alone and independent. So that's
Well, I think those are two different things.
okay.
I
Yeah.
want you to be independent. I want you to, who doesn't want to be independent? I don't want to be reliant on a bunch of people for anything. We are, but I don't want to be,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you getting your dinner tonight? You're going to the grocery store. You're not independent. You are relying on a whole bunch of other people to provide you one of the basic necessities of life.
Yeah.
All right? So we can, as independent as we want to be, we're not. I want to be independent. I can be independent and still have a tribe.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm going to try to figure it out on my own. Because that's I think my philosophy. Like, I might fuck things up, but let me be the one to do that. Let me try to figure this out on my own. But then there comes a point, like maybe it's a home improvement project, and Nicole's gonna go, "Hey, we need that gizmo right there." I go, "I got it. I'll YouTube it. I'll figure it out. How hard could it be?" Right? And she goes, "Oh God." I go, "Just let me be a man and let me try to fix this."
Yeah.
And then I end up disassembling something and I make it 10 times worse. At that point, I tried to be independent.
Yes.
But now I'm going to call in my tribe because I know I need help.
Yes.
I can't complete this. I've got, right? And so my tribe is the electrician. My tribe is my buddy who builds houses. And then I go, "Hey, I tried this. I tried to do what I could do. Hey, applaud the effort, but and that's with life. There are some things that you can handle on your own. We don't need to sound the alarm every time there's a storm. Sometimes we need to sit with it, take the effects of the storm, and depending on the severity of it, maybe we go around it. Maybe we put our head down and go right through it. Not every storm requires a full-blown intervention or the help of others. The knowing part of life is not being afraid to ask for help when you're taking water over the bow and you're sinking. The wisdom of life is knowing that if I don't ask for help now, I'm not going to be able to salvage this ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to be independent for as long as I can. But there's going to be some times and some storms in life where the direction, guidance, the love and support and caring of others is absolutely essential to you getting through it. And that doesn't mean that you're weak. That means that you're smart. That means that you, if you want to use another buzzword, that you have emotional intelligence, that you know what is required in this situation. I don't have the capacity to get through this on my own. And that's not a slight. That's you acknowledging, I want to get this right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that important that I get this right, that I get through this the right way, that I ask for help from people that can guide and direct me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, even you, Veronica, even you, even me, when we're faced with situations, we'll buckle down, we'll drive through, but there'll come a point where we go, not making any headway here. Like, what do they say when you're in the rip current, right? You're swimming, and you're like, holy shit, I'm getting exhausted and I'm not getting anywhere. Stop fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
Let it take you out. And then when you get out of the rip current, now you can get the assistance that you need. Now you can go to the left or the right. Yeah, I think just human nature is we all want to try to figure it out on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And sometimes we're capable. But the switch is, if you're not, that's not indicative of anything other than you could use some help getting through the storm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a slight. It's not a little mark in the book against your name. You were unable to. No, especially nowadays. Years ago, having emotional talking about their feelings or shit that really matters, non-existent, wasn't accepted.
Mm-hmm.
It was discouraged. You were less somehow if you did. We're not in that generation.
Yeah.
You know? And so maybe it's just acknowledging that everybody goes through the storms of life. There are some you can get through on your own. And the ones that you can't, there's always going to be somebody available, ready, willing, and able to help guide and direct you.
Yeah.
So you can come out on the other side a better version of yourself.
I love that. It's the season finale, John. What's the lesson that I haven't said? What's a final lesson that you think I should
Well, that's for you. You can't put that on me. I haven't driven around the country for the last 2 months talking to all amazing people. I think.
Okay, I'll ask it differently. What's a final lesson that you would like to impart on?
I think that you've already learned it. That when we take the time to talk to others, so much value is added to our own lives. It creates a superhuman version of Veronica Sterling because they have imparted all of their love, wisdom, knowledge, and experiences in a really short period of time that you had a front row seat for. And you can take the 1 or 2 or 3 little gems of wisdom and add them to your library of experiences and knowledge. And now you possess that information.
Yeah.
This experience has made you a better version of you far beyond what you could have expected before you started. You could never have anticipated gleaning the little tidbits and jewels of wisdom and experience that you have had the opportunity sitting down with all your different guests, going to these different locations, feeling and experiencing these different things that brought up things that you wanted to talk about and expound on. And that's something that can never be taken away from you. These experiences.
Yeah.
They're forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love that I'm like still in the middle of this story somehow. Like there's still more parks to see. There's more places to take the Airstream, but there's still just more life happening around all that too. Like I just love letting it unfold.
The story doesn't end.
Yeah.
This is a book with never-ending chapters.
Yes.
For as long as you want to continue to write it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
It's this never-ending book, and I think that that's really cool.
Yes, yes. I think that that's something that everybody needs to remember. Like you can end it, you can just turn the page and start another chapter. And this story, for as long as we're walking on the earth, our story is continuing.
And you don't need anybody's permission to do that.
Yes. Yeah. That's the lessons. Yeah.
Who am I to do a podcast? Wrong question.
Wrong question. Yeah.
Wrong question. When we ask better questions, we get better answers.
Yes. Yes.
What a journey you've been on.
And it's going to continue.
Yes.
To be continued. Yes.
Absolutely.
John,
that's awesome.
Kelly, thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. You're the best.
You're just so generous. Thank you.
Can't wait to do it again.
I hope
Season 2.
Yeah. Season 2 finale. Here we come.
I love it.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Compass Stories. I'm your host, Veronica Sterling. And if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to hear more and share it with others. Thank you for doing so. That's really helpful for me. To learn more about my message and connect, you can find me at www.veronicasterling.com.